Championship Sundays here. We've got the classic matchup, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, over on the AFC side of things. And then over on the NFC side of things, we have the Eagles facing off against the Commanders. Jalen Hurts versus the guy I totally was not rooting for the Pats to draft. And I got my dust back. And welcome back to the show with no name, the Unnamed Show, the show that I am either too uncreative, lazy, or just unbothered to create a name for. But I'm recording it, you're watching it, and we're all living life. So, like I said, this weekend, this Sunday, Championship Sunday, we've got the end of the football season, in my opinion. You know, the Chiefs will probably go on to have some crazy three-peat Super Bowl and yay and Taylor Swift and I watch it for the commercials, Beyonce, whatever. Like, yeah, no, that's not really football. We're kind of towards the end of things here, guys. But do not be distressed. I got you covered for this last week of football. I will not let you down. I am not Mark Andrews. I will not. God, Mark Andrews. God, Mark Andrews. I will not let you down. We will go over the games. We're going to break them down a little bit, give some predictions, have a good time. And someone please find Mark Andrews. That man is going to need extensive therapy. My God, I was not going to get into the divisional round. And I know, people are excited about Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes 4, like it's going to be different this time. And it's always a good game, and that's great, and ooh, go Josh Allen. But being a big Lamar guy, I was rooting a little more in that direction. And, man, Mark Andrews, to not have a touchdown until the middle of the season, rally back so that he leads the league in touchdowns for all tight ends, and obviously, there's other factors in the game. Lamar had turnovers. They did not play perfectly. But in that spot, to drop that ball, I mean, yes, Josh Allen would have gotten the ball back. There's a good chance he drives down the field. They kill the clock. They kick the 3, and it's still the same matchups. But hell, Mark Andrews, just Anyway, it's cool. I totally didn't have money on that. It's actually rather likely.
Stop it. Get some help.
That the guy that I did bet on did rather well. So happy about that. Always go with... Sorry, my desk attacked me there. Lucky with that. Always go with the tight end, just not apparently Mark Andrews. Anywho, I want to break down the games because that, I believe, is what I'm supposed to do. Guys, here's the thing. Football season is coming to an end, and plenty of you do know me from football settings. Maybe you came from the leagues, you know me from there. A lot of people came from Blake's channels. A lot of people I know you in real life. And the rest of you I met along the way. After football season, this channel is not going back into hibernation. I am going to be getting into some dumb We have stuff coming up, like Kelly and I are going to be diving into some classic horror movies and kind of giving our real-time reactions. That'll be fun. We've got the live streams. And I am going to try to entertain you through whatever means I can. Probably more commentary than bits, but we'll probably have a little bit of both going on. So don't go anywhere because the weekly uploads are going to continue, and we're going to have a good time. And we are going to dive right into the games and get some predictions going on. All right, so first we have Washington, who took out the Lions. They took out the Lions. That was absolutely insane. But we have Washington versus Philly, which is a divisional game. They split the series during the regular season, and that was when Jayden Daniels was at his peak as he was coming in. That was kind of before Saquon was starting to break off into this crazy season that he had. There's definitely context that goes into it, but these teams split a series. We've seen both of them win. They're 1-1 this year, and seeing Jayden Daniels. I didn't start streaming until after the draft going into this year. I was pulling hard for the Patriots to draft Jayden Daniels. Real hard. We didn't. We were the 3rd overall pick, and we got Drake May, and I was like, hey, you know what? Fine, that's our guy. I saw his debut game in person, saw him get his ass kicked by the Rams, and he looks great, and you put help around him, and I really think that this kid has a great future. We have Vrabel now, and not to go on a whole Patents tangent, that's coming next week. It hurts my heart a tiny bit to see Jayden Daniels in the championship game, potentially being the first rookie to go to the Super Bowl ever as a starting quarterback, but happy for the kid. I like him a lot. We'll see where it goes. Unfortunately, I don't think that they get past Philly. That's the thing. So last week, I think that what happened is the Lions and their explosive offense finally met that point, that fork in the road, where they needed their defense. And the amount of injuries they had, even just Hutch going down, I believe Brian Branch was hurt in that game, Kirby Joseph, their strung together defense and the power of friendship was just no longer enough. It was pretty shocking. But here's the thing. They're going in, they're playing Philly. They went up and they had a massive upset last week, and that was Jayden Daniels, the show. That was just deep ball after deep ball and a 70-yard tearaway on a little screen pass to Scary Terry. That was an offensive, just blowout masterpiece by Jayden Daniels and the Commanders. I do not think that the best remaining defense in the league is going to allow
this chicanery,
but I do think the kid can put up points. Washington definitely struggled towards the end of the year to get things going, but things just seemed to click into place once they got to the playoffs, and maybe that's the type of player that Jayden Daniels is. He's a postseason stud. So against the Eagles this year, Jayden Daniels has 449 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Last time they won, Washington won 20-6, which that is important. Their defense does know how to compete with Philly. Dan Quinn is a very defensive-minded head coach. So you've got the explosive offense, and you do have that defense and that edge that you have of this being a divisional matchup. However, over on the Philly side of things, I don't think anybody needs to be reminded of Saquon Barkley. I don't think anybody needs to be reminded of Saquon Barkley. 2,000-yard season, absolutely unreal. Every time he touches the ball, it looks like he's being shot out of a cannon. And that's only this much of their offense. You still have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, this unreal line, and a great but banged up quarterback in Jalen Hurts. So at the end of the day, both teams can put up points. I think that Washington is a little more limited in how they can put up points. I think that you're relying on Jayden Daniels' arm and legs. Terry McLaurin is a great receiver. You've got other pieces that are serviceable there. Zach Ertz is way past his prime from when he was on the Eagles. De'Ami Brown was great last week, but he's playing against, the guys that Detroit had out there, not Darius Slay. And they're a little more limited. If Saquon, for whatever reason, gets, stuffed at the line, which is probably not going to happen. If he does, then you're turning around and saying, okay, beat us with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And the Eagles are going to say, bet. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting game. Washington schemes really well against them. I think that an early X factor is seeing how guys like Jalen Carter are going to play in this game. He struggles with pressure up the middle a lot more than a lot of the other mobile quarterbacks. A lot of the times when he takes off, it is straight up the middle. And having their guard injured in the divisional round is definitely something that you're going to notice for Washington potentially. So keep an eye on the interior line, see how that plays out. But it's a divisional game, which means it might be low scoring. It might not be the most dramatic game ever, but it's probably going to be a close and tight game, more than a lot of people will give them credit for. Washington would be amazing to see them get through, see the first rookie quarterback leading their team into the Super Bowl. However, I don't think that's how it plays out. I really thought that this was going to end up being Detroit and Philly, which I know, shocker, the 1 and 2 seed. But I think that Philly is going to head back to the Super Bowl. And a little spoiler alert, it might be a rematch, but I got to give this one to Philly, and I'm going to give them the edge. And they're probably going to win by multiple scores. And over on the AFC side of things, I bet you guys can't guess who the primetime game is featuring again in the championship. Now that I am no longer in my little Massachusetts bubble, and it's been this way since moving to New York, but after the dynasty ended, I kept rooting for the Pats. They're my team. I now understand why people didn't like us. Because it's a lot. There's a lot of Patrick Mahomes. There's a lot of Travis Kelce. But Bills and Chiefs in their 4th postseason meeting, where you have Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen squaring off. Now, here is an interesting stat about these two. They are 4-4. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen head to head. They're 50-50. However, in the postseason, it is 3-0, Patrick Mahomes taking out Josh Allen every time. Patrick Mahomes in the postseason is a different kind of animal. And the only teams that have beaten Patrick Mahomes in the postseason and the regular season had Joe Burrow and Tom Brady on them. And Josh Allen is looking to add his name to that list. They did beat them earlier in the season. That does not mean a whole lot when you get to the postseason. So some stuff to look at early on. Despite them both having rather high-scoring games, neither the Chiefs or the Bills really did a lot on offense last week. For the Chiefs, you didn't have Juju, Hollywood Brown, or DeAndre Hopkins catch anything. Xavier Worthy had under 30 yards. That was pretty much the Travis Kelce show, and then they were running the ball. That's about it. Now, Travis Kelce in the playoffs apparently is different as well, because he did not have a great year. He looked like it was, 2018 out there last week, and he had over 100 yards and a touchdown. Thank you for that touchdown, by the way. Thank you. But at the end of the day, they are struggling to put up points. Now, Buffalo, on the other hand, in the game against Baltimore being the number 1 defense in the league going into that game, Buffalo struggled to put up points as well. It was mostly Josh Allen being like, hey, I'm 6'5" and a farmer boy. I am going to plow through everybody and fall on my face in the end zone multiple times. Falling on my face. That's the best we got. Is falling on my face. But it worked. It got them points. They have a great running game with James Cook. And in Bill's running back tradition, he slashes that field up and down. You could not pin that man down. He is running away faster than a Ford Bronco. O.J. Simpson did it. They have a really good run game, though. And when Josh Allen can click, he clicks. And against not Baltimore, they may be able to put up points a bit easier. I think what we learned about the Chiefs in the divisional round is that no matter how old he gets, Travis Kelce can put on a show in the playoffs. Doesn't matter what he looked like in the regular season, Travis Kelce can put on a show in the playoffs. And I think what we learned about the Bills in the divisional round is God Mark Andrews. God, the turnover, and you dropped the 2 points. I think what we learned about the Bills in their divisional round is they can squeak out these close wins. And I think this is going to be nothing if not close. I think that both teams are going to be relying on their superstar quarterbacks. And I also think it would be pretty funny if the Bills went to 4 straight playoff games and postseasons and lost all of them every time to Patrick Mahomes. 30 years after the Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost all of them with Jim Kelly. These guys don't really seem to be able to utilize their superstar quarterbacks. But in reality, this is going to be a close game. I do think that the Chiefs pull it off. It'll probably be a great game. You know, these guys give us fireworks in the postseason. It's what they've been doing since they started facing off against each other. Give me the Chiefs on this one. I'm not one of those guys who is sitting there praying for the downfall of Patrick Mahomes. He's the new Thanos. He's inevitable. He's Tom Brady 2.0. They're gonna get the three-peat. They're probably gonna get the three-peat. We'll see who gets there on the other side, but they will probably get a rematch and they will probably get a three-peat. But let's not get ahead of ourselves for right now. 1 week at a time. I do believe give me the Chiefs in a close game. Would be pleasantly surprised to see it be the Bills, but give me the Chiefs, close game. They're walking out of Arrowhead with the Lamar Hunt Trophy yet again. All right, guys. So that is going to do it for me for just a little championship weekend preview here. One thing that I just want to mention one more time. In these videos, I don't really make as many jokes as I used to, or you know, I'm not going for as much comedy as I do maybe in a live stream or something like that. End of football season is rapidly approaching. Like, it's days away, unless you count the Super Bowl, which but we're getting to the end of football season, which means the end of football content. And I want you to know that weekly uploads, like I said, weekly uploads are going to continue. Different subjects. I have a lot of stuff in the chamber. It's going to be some doofier. Hopefully you guys are down to see me make fun of some dumb stuff and have a good time. But until then, thank you for watching my show, despite the fact that I haven't named it. I will catch you this weekend. I will hopefully catch you in the weekend in between. Planning a little collab stream there with Mills Coolin, who I will pin in the comments. Check out his stuff. He's streaming every day. And we're going to have a good time. But like I said, just stay tuned, because we're going to be trying a lot of new shit. It's going to be fun. There's going to be long form. There's going to be short form. There's going to be streams. Until then, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy your Sundays. This is really the last big football Sunday of the year. And we're going to spend it all having them pan over to Taylor Swift every 5 seconds. Enjoy.